we have oil filter housing gasket. So I've already replaced mine 2 years ago, and it's going to get replaced again. It's already starting to weep again. So if you don't get OEM gaskets, just plan on every couple of years you're going to have to go back and replace them. It's just how it is. You go with aftermarket, and guess what? You're going to be replacing it down the road. But you know, BMW in their brilliance decided to engineer an oil filter housing that leaks even with the BMW OEM gasket. So just a bad design. It makes me wonder if they do that on purpose, like get the cars to last just past warranty, and then all of a sudden they just start leaking and everything starts falling apart. But so these are intake gaskets right here, and they feel pretty good. They're kind of firm but pliable. But we'll see. When I take my intake off, I'm going to see if mine are flattened out. If they are, well, then they're getting replaced. So I got this basically because I thought this had all of the turbo O-rings. And I realized later that, yeah, it's got turbo O-rings in there. Those little O-rings, I don't know if you can see them. But it's only for the motor side. So it's only the coolant and a couple oil feed O-rings in there. So once I realized, oh crap, I don't have a complete set of turbo O-rings, I had to order these guys right here. These are Victor Rhines. They're OE quality. And believe it or not, this little O-ring set is 25 bucks. And there's no way around it. If you go to the dealer, they want more than, they want like $6 for just the oil drain O-rings. Let's see if I can find an oil drain O-ring for you to show you. So this O-ring right here is an oil drain O-ring, and those are $6 from BMW each. And then these are oil and coolant O-rings, and they're about $2 each. So yeah, 25 bucks, it's worth it. Proper sized O-rings. It's too bad, I thought this kit had it in there, but they only have half of what you see there. They just basically have anything that's connected to the motor. It's all motor side gaskets. But this gasket kit, really affordable. It's $120 plus the shipping is like $135 to your door. Not too bad. And like I was saying with the BMW, excuse me, the oil filter housing, yeah, BMW wants like 35-40 bucks for one of these, and they just end up leaking anyways. So I'm gonna see when I pull it all apart, get these fitted. If they don't fit particularly well and don't, you know, if it doesn't look like it's gonna work, then I'll just go down to the dealership and grab one. They have them there. But I'm still gonna try this. This kit was, like I said, really inexpensive. It was like $130 to my door, shipped. So that was, I thought, wow. I really wanted just the oil pan gasket. That's what I needed. I have a oil pan gasket that has decided to leak as much oil as it can. And so the oil pan gasket alone was 70 bucks. And so for an extra $60 to get everything else for the motor, yeah, it's worth it. You'll end up using the valve cover gasket down the road. All these gaskets will end up being used down the road. So I thought that was a really good choice. And like I say, I will post links to all this as soon as I can verify that everything works and that it's good to go. Then you will be able to order this stuff yourselves and save yourself some money, because that's what this channel is about. I'm here to see what works, what doesn't work, what's going to save you a bunch of money, or what's going to cost you a bunch of money. Yeah, it's going to be fun, folks. Okay, I don't know why the turbos they sent me some gaskets, but I looked at these and was like, yeah, I'm not sure. They're like stamped little stainless exhaust manifold gaskets, but from the factory they don't have this stuff, so yeah, I'm puzzled about even if I'm going to use it at all. And that takes care of the gasket set. Let's take a look at this right here. Behind box number 3, Monty Python. Behind box number 3. So, T-bolt clamps. And more T-bolt clamps. This, my friend, is a 9mm E85 hose. PTFE hose is what they call this. I'm not going to be using this one because this is actually the wrong size. And I'll show you the right size in a minute here. So, what do we have here? We have a Rhine Automotive hose here. And this is for the coolant pipe elbow. So this hooks up to your water pump and then goes to a coolant pipe that goes right into the block that actually feeds the turbochargers. And this is the other coolant pipe. This is its brother. Different brand. But like I said, at 100,000 miles, while you're down in there, folks, you need to get everything you can up to maintenance. If you can replace it, do it while you're in there. The last thing you want to do is put new turbos on, go to test the water pump, and have a bunch of leaks, cracked pipes, and a bunch of BS to deal with. So you got to knock it out while you're under there. I recommend getting it all taken care of all at the same time. Here's an interesting one. This is the mall thermostat. Pretty high quality thermostat. It was recommended as an OE replacement, so new thermostat. That was about that was 50-60 bucks plus shipping. This was 20 bucks plus shipping. This was about $15 shipped total. Put those in there. Let's take a look over here. Let's see what's in this little box. What do we got in this little box? Need two hands, sorry, it's out of camera. Okay, in this little box we have this one-handed stuff. My gosh, come on. Okay, in this box we have a Continental 3.5 bar T-map sensor. And I got this just in case I wanted to push the boundaries of my turbos, but I don't know. Maybe my 2.5 bar will work for 18 to 20 pounds, but if it doesn't, I have a T-map sensor for at least 35 pounds of boost. It's a 3.5 T-map sensor. You're gonna need one of those. And that was, I believe, 20 shipped to my door. 20 bucks, relatively cheap. I mean, so there's that. You're gonna need a set of these. These are the Rhine Automotive aluminum bolt kit for your oil pan. Made in Germany. Yep, because the N54 has all aluminum fasteners. Yeah, because of they use an alloy block, you can't use steel fasteners in there. They will get corroded and seized into place. There's an electrolysis effect that happens, and so you have to use aluminum bolts. These are all torque yield, one-time use. You torque to yield these, so you'll torque these to a certain torque number, and then you'll have to turn them 90 degrees, 180, whatever they call for. New oil pan bolts. That was $33 for that one. And over here, you're gonna need, this is a 5/32 or 4mm vacuum line. So at 100,000 miles, your vacuum lines are gonna get like mush. You will like pinch them, squeeze them, and they're literally all just crumble. And the problem you can have with that is vacuum lines collapse, and all of a sudden you got all these weird issues. You got all these weird lights, and it's really just a vacuum line that's collapsed. So yeah, I got 10 feet of this guy. So it's getting all new vacuum line, and these are all nice silicone rubber. Well, silicone lines, they're not rubber. It's going to be nice to actually go through all that. But yeah, you're going to need vacuum lines at 100,000 miles. You might as well replace them all. If you're gonna get in, like I said, if you're gonna get in deep with this type of work, you're gonna need to just replace everything you can while you're down there. It's just a shame if you go down and change turbos, and then all of a sudden you got all this extra work, and then you got to pull and drop the subframe again. Like, save yourself a headache, folks. Just if you're down there, it just makes sense to replace everything that you can that's serviceable. Okay, next on the list, here we go. This is a fun one. If I can get it open. Sorry about that. Okay. Take a look at this. I went to BMW and they wanted over $100 for some studs. Unreal. These are the studs for the turbos. They're exhaust studs. They go right into the cylinder head. And BMW wanted a lot of money, and these things are tiny. Just doesn't make sense. I'm like, wow. You can see that one of them has a double nut on there. I did that because I had to go to the store, I went to the True Value and got some nuts, because you will need 2 nuts when you're trying to extract these guys. So make sure that you go, and before you do everything, get a couple nuts, because you're going to need to make a jam nut in order to get these studs out. But these studs came from Lithuania, and it took 3 weeks. It took a while, but when they finally arrived, boy, I was super happy. And they were $40, not the 100 and something that the dealer wants. Yeah, I wasn't happy to find out how expensive they were, because they're so small. I mean, literally. And the nuts, just to let you know, those are M7s. The nuts are M7s. Even though the bolt is described as an M8 by 29, that's an M7 nut that goes on there. And you'll need 2 of them. And there's 16 of them, so make sure you got all 16. All right. This is just some, I don't know. I was at the hardware store and I'm like, you know what? I'm missing a few of my under tray bolts, the little metric under tray bolts. So these were super cheap at the hardware store. They were like 20 cents each, something stupid like that. But when I was there, I also picked up, this was like $2. I'm undecided whether I'm going to use this or not, because it's kind of small, but from what I understand, the way the vacuum lines are run to the diverter valves, they actually have a T in them, and so it's actually teed off of one vacuum port. And I was told that that doesn't supply enough adequate vacuum. So if you have modified turbos, you might run into some issues with your diverter valves, because it's just not drawing the proper amount of vacuum. So I was going to actually take my factory manifold and well, drill and tap it for this, and just run 2 separate lines. Instead of having one line tee off into 2, well, each of the diverters will have their own vacuum source. So, upgrade there.